Hey, how's it going, everyone? Justin again. As always, thanks for watching my channel. Welcome back. Today's topic is going to be the 5 different types of mechanics that you're going to come across in the automotive field. Hope you're enjoying the beginning of your work week so far and kicking some major butt. Cheers to those of you that have your beers, and here's to hoping for a great work week. Alright, so the first type of mechanic that you're going to come across at some point throughout your automotive career is going to be the MacGyver. This guy, it can fix anything with anything. Let me talk about a relentless tactic of taking something that's completely destroyed and then putting it back together or making it work. You know what I mean? Like, the guy has got skills. And what I mean by that is, like, say you come across something that broke and you're like, dang, you know, this car's so old, I don't know if we can get an aftermarket part for it. We might have to order it off eBay. And then, lo and behold, here comes MacGyver to the rescue with his JB Weld in one hand, some bubble gum and duct tape in another, and maybe a pocket full of paper clips, and manages to put this thing back together as if it was new and just makes it work. So that's what I'm talking about. I think he needs to be number 1. Number 2, the bookworm. This guy's always enthralled in the books. I mean, he's on the computer finishing up his dealer-specific training. He's in the ASE study guides. He's usually the first one to pass the tests on the first time go. He's usually the guy that has all the answers, and if you're stuck on a particular question, he can come over and literally give you the answer without ever having to look at the book because he's already read and memorized everything. He's super duper test smart and knows nothing about being a mechanic hardly. Even though he works as an automotive technician or mechanic, he might struggle around some of the nuts and bolts and how to get certain things off and what tool you need for what. But when it comes to diagnostic work, when it comes to book work, he's your go-to guy. So we'll just call him the bookworm. This guy is killer smart. You want to tuck underneath his wing and try to learn some stuff from him. But he can still learn stuff from you, which is kind of unique. Which brings me to the next one, the grease monkey. The guy that knows how to take just about anything apart and put it back together without ever having to look at the book. I would consider myself the grease monkey. He's usually the guy with the really screwed up hair that doesn't give a shit about what he looks like. He's covered in grease from one way to the next. If he wears gloves at all, it might be for an oil change, but if he knows he's going to spend several hours doing an engine job, chances are you'll never see him wear gloves, and he's usually covered in head to toe in grease. But the guy can get it done and get it done quick without ever having to crack a book open. This is the grease monkey, and you will run into him at least at almost every shop that you're at. The next one is a unique character. We'll just call him the hybrid, okay? He's like the hybrid guy from Underworld. I'm telling you, this guy can do both. He can do diagnostic troubleshooting, use a DVOM on electrical diagnosis, and he's really smart with books, but the same side, he's also really good at taking things apart and putting it back together. He can just do both, and that's crazy. If you find a hybrid, that's a guy that you want to keep if you're a shop owner. I'm telling you what, those guys are hard to come by. Most of the time, they're going to be a real seasoned tech, someone that's been in the industry, I'm going to say, for at least 10, maybe even 20 years. But this guy's got spunk and can just bang the work out and can diagnose just about anything you throw at him. The hybrid, that's the one, man. I mean, it's a rare thing to see one of those, but when you do, you're glad that he's on your team. All right, now we're going to go on with the last, and certainly not least, because I know there's many more that I haven't mentioned here, the teacher's pet. This guy's usually clamming around the shop, trying to stay as close to the shop foreman or service manager as he possibly can. He might even be trying to buddy up with some of the service writers to try to get some of the cush work. He'll make jokes and laugh at all your jokes, even if they're not funny, just to try to stay on your good side, especially if you're in a higher role where you're in charge of him. He's usually brown-nosing the shit out of you, and it's very rare that you'll ever see him too far away from somebody of an authority figure. This guy will be the quick one to rat you out if you do something or you break something or something doesn't go right, and they'll say, do you know what's going on with so-and-so? And he's usually the first person to be like, yep, he's stuck on this because he broke this or whatever, and he's trying to figure out how to fix it. The teacher's pet will get you in more trouble than you can ever imagine. He's the first guy to go running up to the foreman if you're a couple of minutes late to say, guess he slept in, huh? Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. The teacher's pet is a devious bastard and nobody likes working with him, but you will run into that in an automotive shop. Now, I know there's probably a handful out there that I haven't mentioned. We'll throw out some honorable mentions like the lube tech who only does oil changes and nothing else. The master mechanic or the senior mechanic who's usually this close to retirement, we'll just call him the old timer. This guy usually has, you know, all of his ASEs and is just absolutely grumpy as all hell. So there's a couple of honorable mentions. Like I said, I know there's a laundry list. I was trying to put this list together in my head, and I think I got somewhere up to about 10 or 20 different people that you're going to run across in the automotive industry. But in order to keep it entertaining and the time short, I decided to dumb it down to 5. But if I missed something here today that you thought needs to be put down in the comments, feel free to put it down in the comments. Share with me, what are some of the mechanics that you think that you'll run into at almost any shop that you'll go to work for? Let me know. Thanks as always for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Cheers and deuces.